Welcome to the Military OneSource Podcast. Military OneSource is an official program of the Defense Department with tools, information, and resources to help families navigate all aspects of military life. For more information, visit MilitaryOneSource.mil.
Welcome to the podcast. I'm Bruce Moody. We're going to talk about an app that the Defense Commissary activity has. It's an app called CLICK2GO, and I think it's going to be a really interesting conversation. We have two guests today. Jen Claro is a registered dietitian at Joint Base Meier-Henderson Hall, right up the road from the Pentagon. Also joining us today is Kelli Carden, and she works with the Defense Commissary Agency. Well, welcome to the both of you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Bruce. Thank you very much.
Kelli, we're going to get to you in just a couple of minutes. Jen, I want to start with you because you actually use CLICK2GO as part of your job. So tell us about this. You're a dietitian. What is the work that you do? And we can kind of get into then how CLICK2GO feeds into that.
So in my role as a dietitian right now, I'm working within the primary care setting of a military treatment facility. And I get to work with service members, both active duty, retired, and their families, working on an individualized approach to meeting their goals, whatever their goals may be. You know, sometimes it's medical or health related, and often it involves lifestyle changes. So we kind of work together to find a realistic plan and some strategies and work together toward their goals.
Along with that is meal planning. When we talk about meal planning, there's your nutritional goals, your budget planning, and maybe not ending up the week with a fridge full of food that's just going bad. So when you're talking about meal planning, what does that mean to you? And what are the benefits of meal planning?
Sure. So meal planning is what I call one tool in our toolbox that we can use. There are many strategies. So when I'm working with individuals or families, we kind of come up with what their goals are and how we want to get there, and then what tools we need to get there. So sometimes that tool gets pulled out of meal planning. So we think of meal planning as literally just that. You know, I try to simplify it. It's just planning your meals, and that can be as formal or as informal as someone wants. And I always like to point out when I bring up meal planning that it doesn't have to be Instagram award worthy type strategy. It can simply be just prepping your food to any degree ahead of time to then eat it later. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. So I think sometimes it gets overhyped out there in the wonderful world of social media. So I like to simplify it.
Yeah, I've definitely gone down the recipe rabbit hole on social media, and you can end up either full of great ideas or feeling like it's just hopeless. It's very aspirational out there. How does CLICK2GO help people when they're doing their meal planning? And when you're talking about CLICK2GO with your patients, how do you present this?
So as far as meal planning and where CLICK2GO comes in, it's easy enough to say, hey, here are some checkpoints or here are some ways to use meal planning. But it's usually not the concept of meal planning that holds people back. It's the barriers to then doing it. So for an example, a checkpoint that we might use would be someone that is trying to eat fish twice a week. And they're thinking, okay, fish is healthy. I like it. I want to plan meals around it. Let's do this. But then what do I do? So with CLICK2GO, I like to use it and recommend it as a tool, starting with the recipe feature, the search portal for the recipes, where you can actually go in and filter the recipes to find exactly what you're looking for. So if someone's looking for, vegetarian options or entree specific or side dishes, my favorite filter, probably biased, is the dietitian approved filter, where they can click all these filters and then it sorts the recipes. And the recipe then comes up and all the ingredients are listed. And all they have to do is click add to cart next to each ingredient. So they click the add to cart for the ingredients just that they need. So if they already have bell peppers at home, they would just not add that to their cart, or they would only add the amount that they need. And it's right there in the recipe. Most of the patients I work with are very excited to see that feature because then they don't have to think about it. They find a recipe and all they have to do is add the ingredients to the cart to pick up at the commissary, with their shopping trip. CLICK2GO, I phrase it as a way to minimize the barriers, to kind of take away the maybe lack of time desired in shopping or searching for recipes on another site and then having to go find them and shop for them all in a separate process.
What I'm getting from you, because I do this a lot, I look in the fridge and I say, okay, those bell peppers, use them or lose them. And so I could find a recipe that maybe would require the bell peppers and then figure out the remaining ingredients that I need. Is that what you're describing?
Yeah, you can browse recipes with certain ingredients in mind, and then also to finding one that also is in line with the other checkpoints that we establish. So yeah, it can be that simple to help make sure that you're not wasting food or only purchasing the food that you know you need for the recipes you're picking out for that week.
Interesting. Well, Kelli, let's bring you into the conversation because you work for DeCA, the Defense Commissary Agency. So this is your app. Why don't you tell us about CLICK2GO and how it works?
Commissary CLICK2GO is DeCA's online ordering and curbside pickup program. It's great for patrons because it allows them the best of both worlds, because they can order their groceries online and save time that they would normally spend shopping in the store or in the checkout line. Curbside pickup also helps pick their own time slot. So if they're coming off of work at 4 o'clock, they can set their time for pickup at 4:30, swing by, pick up their groceries, and then go home. Patrons can access the service from either their computer or their mobile device by logging on to shop.commissaries.com. And if you don't already have an account, you can register for one there on the login page, and it'll give you step-by-step instructions. From there, the patron gets to choose their commissary location. And then to Jen's point, they get to search for products by name or category. Patrons can view our virtual aisles. And then when the patron's ready and has put all their items in their cart, they get to check out online and then choose their time to pick up and complete their order.
How does somebody know if they're eligible to use CLICK2GO?
To be eligible for CLICK2GO, you either have to be an active, reserve, or retired uniformed service member. Also included in that are veterans with any service-connected disability. Listeners can get started by visiting shop.commissaries.com. From there, you'll be able to see exactly the eligible patrons, and they'll be able to establish an account right there as well.
Now, what are the forms of payment that CLICK2GO will accept?
CLICK2GO accepts numerous types of payment, and this payment is collected online. We accept debit, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover, and the Military Star Card. The Defense Commissary Agency also accepts SNAP, EBT, and commissary gift cards. Unfortunately, that payment right now cannot be processed online, so that's a separate process when you go to checkout. Nothing changes with your checkout process, except you just pick that you're using that tender and it says checkout in store. What that means is a commissary representative will come out with your order and you will check out from your car and everything will stay the exact same. You'll get a receipt. They'll put the groceries in your car and then you can go home. But for right now, if you need to use SNAP, EBT, or a commissary gift card for payment, unfortunately, that's only done offline. But everything else, we totally accept online. It's a very seamless process.
Kelli, what locations currently offer CLICK2GO?
CLICK2GO is offered at every commissary around the world, which is 235. So patrons can use that no matter if you're stationed overseas or if you're at Fort Belvoir here. If you're an eligible shopper, you are eligible to use Commissary CLICK2GO pickup service.
Now, we're putting a bunch of links in the program notes, and I would like you to just maybe talk through some of these links for service members or looking for more information about CLICK2GO.
Service members and spouses can find additional information on CLICK2GO, which is our website, and that's shop.commissaries.com. From there, you can go and we have our FAQs. We also have how Commissary CLICK2GO works. It gives you a step-by-step layout of exactly what the program's goal is, how, as an eligible patron, you can access the program. If you have any issues with logging in or creating an account, there is a customer service number and a website that they can go to and submit it, and we contact you back as soon as possible. There's a lot of helpful links to piggyback off what Jen mentioned earlier with Click2Go. It's a really great service for menus and for meal planning and for also doing your budget to making sure that you stay on track, because it's a lot easier to track something in your cart and remove it virtually than it is to do it physically while you're up there in the line. So it helps people stay on budget. It also helps people eat easier because you're not getting spur of the moment impulse buys, like you're not grabbing the Snickers because you're hungry when you're checking out. So that definitely benefits patrons. And then Jen mentioned this earlier, but we have a dietitian approved portion of our website. And our dietitian, her name is Deborah Harris, and she's great about planning the meals and making sure all the ingredients are there, the step-by-step instructions. So that is also there for patrons to utilize if they choose.
I really appreciate the both of you being on the podcast and talking about this resource. Jen Claro, registered dietitian with Joint Base Henderson Hall, is returning to the podcast. She was with us several weeks ago talking about nutritional wellness in the new year. So remember those New Year's resolutions? Well, they're still there. And we have a link in the program notes to that podcast. And you can talk about just kind of kickstarting your nutritional goals for the year. So Jen Claro and Kelli Carden, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks. It was good to be back, Bruce. I appreciate it.
Excellent. Thanks to the both of you. And want to remind you that Military OneSource is an official resource of the Defense Department. We always like to hear from you. You can click on a link in the program notes, send us a question, a comment, maybe an idea for a future episode. And be sure to subscribe to this podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts, because we cover a wide range of topics to help military families navigate military life. I'm Bruce Moody. Thank you for listening. Take care. Bye-bye.